بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن وجبت عليه كفارة ظهار فاعتق رقبتين لا ينوين إحداهما بعينها جاز عنهما. Whoever there is wajib upon him two kafara zihar, so he needs to pay in two kafara zihar. So what he did, so he freed two slaves, and he did not intend on behalf of one of them two specifically. You know, you didn't say this slave is for this kafara and this slave is for this kafara zihar, right? Then it will be permissible on behalf of both. وَكَذَا إِذَا صَامَ أَرْبَعَةَ أَشْهُرٍ. Likewise, when he fasts 4 months, so he's supposed to fast 2 months for one ziyar and 2 months for the other ziyar. So he did do that, but he didn't say this 2 months is for this ziyar and this 2 months for that ziyar. You understand it? أو أطعم 120 miskinan jaza, or if fed 120 poor people, then it's permissible, because he also is covering the amount. 60 is supposed to be, he fed 120. لأن الجنس متحد, right? Because the jins is one. فلا حاجة إلى نية مؤينة. So there's no need to make a specific niyat, right? No need to make a specific niyat, because the both are kafara zihar. So the jins is one. You understand it? وَإِنْ أَعْتَكَ عَنْهُمَا رَقَبَةً وَاحِدَةً. And we freed on behalf of both now. So what he's doing now? He said, I've got those two kafara zihar here. I'm freeing one slave, and he freed one slave on behalf of both the kafara ziyars. Osama shahraini, or he only fasted 2 months, right? Kana lahu an yaj'ala dhalika an ayyima sha'a. It will be permissible for him to make that on behalf of whichever one of the two he wishes. So he can say now, okay, so what he said, this one slave is on behalf of both kafara. Mufti tell him, no, you can only be on behalf of one kafara. So now he can go and say, okay, I'm making on behalf of this kafara, right? Right. وَإِنْ أَعْتَكَ عَنْ زِهَارٍ وَقَتْلٍ لَمْ يَجُزْ عَنْ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا. And if he freed one slave on behalf of kafara zihar and kafara qatl, then it will not be permissible on behalf of any one of them too. So in other words, he freed that slave for nothing. You understand it? Right. وَقَالَ زُفَرْ رَحْمَةُ لَا يُجْزِيهِ عَنْ أَحَدِهِمَا فِي الْفَصْلَيْنِ. Imam Zufar say in both cases it will not suffice him on behalf of one of them too. In other words, he say even if when it was two zihars, kafara zihars, then two, he can't now make it on behalf of one of them too. وقال الشافعي رحمه الله لو يجعل ذلك عن أحدهما في الفصلين. Imam Shafi rahmah says it's permissible for him to make that on behalf of one of them too in both cases. So he say there also they can make it. He can make it now. He can say now the Mufti tells him you can only make on behalf of one of the two. So choose. So now he can choose kafara zihar or kafara qatl. You understand it? That's Imam Shafi rahmah. And the reason being لأن الكفارات كلها باعتبار اتحاد المقصود جنس واحد. Imam Shafi says because the kafaras, all of it, taking into consideration the oneness of the objective, right? And what is that? That is to cover up your mistake. It is one jins. So whether it's kafara qatl and kafara zihar, they say the Imam Shafi says that even though it's two different types of kafara, right? But the objective is one, so therefore it falls under one jins, right? ووجه قول زفر رحمه أنه أعتق عن كل زهار نصف العبد. The reason call of Imam Zufar is that he freed on behalf of every zihar, each zihar, right? Half a slave, because he made it on behalf one slave on behalf of two, so he made half, right? وليس له أن يجعل أحدهما بعد ما أعتق عنهما لخروج الأمر من يده. So it's not permissible now for him to make it on behalf of one of them too after he had freed it on behalf of both, due to the matter coming out of his hand. So in other words, he freed half slave for this kafara, he freed half slave for that kafara. So finish, he didn't do a full slave for any kafara, the matter is now out of his hand, he can't go correct it. ولنا أن نية التعيين في الجنس المتحد غير مفيد فتلغو. Our dalil is that the niyat of specification in one category doesn't give benefit. Remember we mentioned it, that if everything is in one category, now to make ta'yin, making ta'yin doesn't make any difference. It's not going to make any difference. So in other words, your niyat of ta'yin is not considered, right? Fatalhu. So it becomes null and void. وَفِي الْجِنْسِ الْمُخْتَلِفِ مُفِيدٌ. But in different jinses, it is beneficial. So in other words, when you say I'm making intention of for the two zihars, which is one jins, right? One slave. So since it is one jins, your niyat of ta'yin is lagh. And since your niyat of ta'yin is lagh, so which means you just said, I'm making intention of zihar. Make intention of kafara. That's all you did, right? So you can still now say it on behalf of which one you want, right? وَإِخْتِلَافُ الْجِنْسِ فِي الْحُكْمِ وَهُوَ الْكَفَّارَةُ هَاهُنَا بِإِخْتِلَافِ السَّبَبِ, right? So now we answer Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayh, right? Imam Shafi says that if you look at the objectives of all the zihars, they are one, so they're like one jins. And just as you Ahnaf say that when it's one jins, then no harm. You can make it afterwards on behalf of whichever one of the two you want. So now we answer that. We say the difference of the jins in the outcome, right? Which is the kafara. In the outcome, which is the kafara here, is because of the difference of the sabab. In other words, we say that kafara is zihar and kafara qatl are two different jins. For the simple reason is that the sabab is different. The sabab of the kafara is different. You understand? In the first case, you made a statement of kafara of jihar, right? And in the second case, you killed somebody unintentionally. You understand it? So in both cases now, so the two cases are different. Why? Because the sabab, the cause is different, right? نظير الأول إذا صام يوما في قضاء رمضان عن يومين يجزيه عن قضاء يوم واحد. The example of the first case, right, is when he fasts a day in the fast of Ramadan on behalf of 2 days, it will suffice him on the behalf of the qaza of 1 day. So now you owe 2 days, right? You owe 2 days qaza of Ramadan, and you made 1 day, and you made intention that 1 day must cover the 2 days that you must. So what will be Mufti tell you can't do that? Then you say, okay, I'll make it on behalf of this day that I must out, right? وَنَظِيرُ الثَّانِي إِذَا كَانَ عَلَيْهِ صَوْمُ الْقَضَاءِ وَالنَّذْرِ فَإِنَّهُ لَا بُدَّ فِيهِ مِنَ التَّمْيِيزِ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ. And the example of the second is when there is upon him the fast of qaza and the fast of nazar, two different jins, right? Then it is necessary for him to distinguish and say before time, I'm making qaza of nazar, I'm making qaza of Ramadan fast. He can't go and say, I'm making it on behalf of both, because then it's not going to be on behalf of any one of the two. Babul li'ani. The chapter of li'an, right? إذا قذف الرجل امرأته بالزنا وهما من أهل الشهادة والمرأة مما يحد قاذفها أو نفى نسب ولدها وطالبته بموجب القذف فعليه اللعان. When a man accuses, what's the meaning of li'an? This is li'an now. When a man accuses his wife of zina, right? And they are both from the people of shahadat. In other words, him and his wife can go stand in a court and can give testimony, right? And the woman is from such women, right? So his wife is such a woman who her slanderer will be given had. If somebody has to come and slander her, right, she can take him to court, and he will be lashed for that, for slandering her, right? Or the other situation is he negates the lineage of a child, right? And she demands him with the punishment of slandering, right? Or false accusation. Then upon him is li'an. So he has to do li'an now. So if any stranger comes and accuses a woman of zina, and he can't prove it, then he'll be lashed 80 lashes. You understand it? But if the husband accuses his own wife of zina, he has to bring the 4 witnesses. If he can't bring the 4 witnesses, he's going to be lashed 80 lashes. No oaths, nothing. There's no li'an by him. But the husband, when he sees his wife with another man, his ghairat, he won't be able to hold back himself to go make the sabr and go bring witnesses and catch them on the act. So therefore he's got li'an for him. You understand it? Right. Well, aslu أن اللعان عندنا شهادات مؤكدات بالأيمان مقرونة باللعن قائمة مقام حد القذف في حقه ومقام حد الزنا في حقها. Right. And the basis of this whole li'an is that li'an, according to us, it is testimonies, right? So when you're taking that li'an now, when they're doing that li'an in front of the qazi, what it is actually testimonies which are strengthened with oaths, right? So you are giving testimony now, right? And then you are strengthening that testimony by taking an oath also on it. And you're also joining that the testimony with a curse also upon you, right? If you speak in lies. And it stands in the place of Hadde Qazaf in his right. In other words, when he's taking that li'an there, he's supposed to actually get Hadde Qazaf because he accused his wife, he didn't have four witnesses, right? But so that li'an, when he takes that out, he's actually standing in the place of Hadde Qazaf in his right and in the place of Hadde Zina in her right. Because she's being accused of zina. So her taking li'an is now saving her from Hadde Zina. لقوله تعالى ولم يكن لهم شهداء إلا أنفسهم. Because of Allah Ta'ala's statement. How do we get this here? That there's no witnesses for them except themselves. So in other words, the witnesses, they themselves are the witnesses now. So therefore, there is shahadatun. You understand? It's actually a witnessing they're doing here. Well, istisna'u innama yakunu min al-jins. In other words, the istisna, that anfusuhum, it will be from the same category, which means that anfusuhum is from shuhada. You got that now? Right. وقال الله تعالى فشهادة أحدهم أربع شهادات بالله. And the second proof of this, Allah Ta'ala says, the witnessing of one of them is 4 testimonies with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, nassa ala shahadati wal yamini. So here it was a clear stipulation upon shahadat and the oath. فَقُلْنَا الرُّكْنُ هُوَ الشَّهَادَةُ الْمُؤَكَّدَةُ بِالْيَمِينِ. Right. So we say the rukn in this li'an here, it is a testimony which is strengthened with an oath. ثم قرن الركن في جانبه باللعن لو كان كاذبا. Then he joined the rukn, right, from the husband's side with a curse if he is speaking lies. وهو قائم مقام حد القذف, and it stands in the place of حد القذف. وفي جانبها بالغضب, and from her side it is standing in the place of anger. وهو قائم مقام حد الزنا, and it is standing in the place of حد الزنا. Leave it till there. You understood all that there? You understand it? That in the husband's testimony, it's saving him from Hadde Qazaf. In her testimony, it's saving her from Hadde Zina. All right. Bring it out of the kitabs.